Okay, welcome everyone to the first GameFi conference in Paris. All right, the world's first. Thank you. You are leaders. You are visionaries. You are curious. And the purpose of these conferences that we do at ESCE is really to attract people like you. The people, the early adopters. And this is why we have a role in business school. And what we want to do is introduce new concepts that are not necessarily new from an insider's perspective, but it's new in terms of the marketplace. And by the way, my name is Won Kim, and I am the I'm thinking in French now, ancient director. I am the previous director of the France's first Masters of Blockchain program, which kind of is over now, but it gave me the opportunity to get into this space. And it was the first fully accredited Masters of Blockchain program, and it was here at the school, USCU, IFG, and it was quite an amazing experience, of which we have some students who are from that program, and Isabel and Mac here, you want to stand up? And if you'd like to meet them afterwards, please do, because the whole point of this conference is not just for me to talk or for you to listen. It's really a networking experience. And so this is why we organize this. And also, please stay after the conference, because we have a cocktail just right next door to this side, and it is for networking. So it is to meet new people, because what we have here among us are people who are curious, but also who are professionals, and who are looking for curious people to hire, to work with, and to recruit. And there's also journalists, and so this is the ecosystem. We are the ecosystem, or we are the future ecosystem. And this is why I love organizing these types of conferences. So my name is Won Kim, and welcome again. And what we're going to be doing today is really introducing innovative projects of what is, first of all, GameFi. Some of us, it's not very clear. Where is it going, and where it can go. Okay, so that's the objective. Now, but before I start, though, I'd like to, first of all, thank a few co-organizers of this conference. And first of all is Pierre-Olivier Giffard, who is the director of the marketing department at ESCE. Please give him a hand. Thank you, Pierre. And also, I'd like to introduce the alumni. Is there anyone from the alumni here? ESCE alumni? Yeah, thank you very much for coming. Please give the alumni a big round of applause. And I'd like to introduce also Metality. I think, who's Ajay from Metality? Is he here? He's outside, probably. Probably. So there is, I'm also personally, I'm part of a Web3 agency called Metality. And just for those who are wondering what a Web3 agency is, I think you should talk to Ajay or myself afterwards, because it is not like a communications agency, or it's not like an advertising agency, or it's not even like a Web2 digital marketing agency. Okay, so a Web3 agency has to do a lot more. That encompasses a vast array of knowledge that includes marketing. And so marketing is a part of the understanding, all the way from technical blockchain to advertising. And this is the kind of knowledge base that is required to launch projects that you're going to see today. Okay, so these gentlemen who are sitting next to me are Web3 experts, okay, and more. Okay, so they're not just Web3 experts for me. I think they're entrepreneurs. There are a lot more. But what is a Web3 project is also something that I think most of you are curious about. So let's get into this, the topic of what is GameFi. So let's start with a very simple question. How many gamers are there in this world? Anyone know? Yeah? probably know. As a journalist, you probably know, right? Huh? Yeah. How many gamers? How many in this world where we have about 7 billion people population? How many gamers? How many people play games? 2.7 billion people. So what is going on is that most people play games. Okay? So your mom who says don't play games, she's probably doing something, while you're at school, right? Playing on the video game. She's probably playing some kind of game, right? And so this is why when we talk about blockchain mass adoption, it's going to be through gaming. Okay? It's the numbers don't lie. Okay? Now you mix that with a concept called DeFi. Okay, so DeFi means decentralized finance. So when we look at traditional finance, let's say that's centralized. You have a bank. And to kind of explain it in more elaborate terms, here we can look at this chart here, and we can see that for example, if you're going to buy things online, you're going to have to go through payment gateways. And these payment gateways goes through two banks and an intermediary like Visa, MasterCard. And so, believe it or not, it's a very, very complex system to buy something online. Okay? And so there's a lot of cost involved. And this is a huge barrier. Now, imagine if we took all that system out and all those middlemen out and just put a blockchain in. And this is what DeFi does. Okay? So it eliminates all the middlemen, all the banks, all the Visa, MasterCard, all these people. And instead it puts the blockchain in the middle. Now, so what? What can we do with that? We can now have models something like play to earn. And I know some of you, most of you have heard of this, but play to earn is now you're giving, now the efficiency is passed on to the consumer, okay, or to the player. And so now we have this huge incentive to bring new people on board that is financial, right? So this means that you can actually make money playing a video game. And the first example and the biggest example of this is Axiom Infinity. So Axiom Infinity, if you go on and you play this game, you can actually make money playing a video game. I know it sounds illogical, and if you look at it very carefully, it kind of is, okay? But why does it work? Well, it works because it brings in new people. And what some people might say it's kind of a Ponzi scheme, right? But it brings in new people. But yet, why is this so interesting? Because the money comes from Western worlds, where if people in France and United States, they buy assets, and they don't have the time to play the game, but the people who actually play those games are on scholarships, and they're in the Philippines and Malaysia and these Indonesia and these countries where earning $200 to $300 a month is a very good wage. And so this model, there is a certain kind of logic that makes a lot of sense. And this is all due to the possibility of mixing games and DeFi. Okay? And if you look at Axiom Infinity, this was the first major project that really defined the possibility that this is possible, that put into existence that this is possible. However, they are not the most used platform, because this space is so new and it's so dynamic that just 6 months afterwards we have DeFi Kingdoms, who has a lot more active volume than Axiom Infinity. So what we're looking at is, just because you are the first does not mean you're going to be the winner. And this is why it's so exciting, GameFi. Now, let's look at the traction. This is just 2001 from the beginning to the end. And the sector went up like 3,000%. So we're looking at massive growth. And so this is just the beginning. Yes, we are in a bear market. Yes, things are depressing right now. Everything looks down. But if you look at it right now, people are not going to stop playing games. And if you look at it in terms of number of projects, yes, we are looking today at some of us. It's very hard to even understand where is the GameFi projects on if you're not in the crypto space. But in reality, there are like more. This is at the end of 2021, so I would say it's more than doubled now. But there are about at the end of 2021, there were 1,400 projects, and it started with only 658. And so now we probably have double that amount. And so we're looking at a really, really hyper-growth sector right now. So this kicks us to GameFi 2.0. And GameFi 2.0, what is this? Well, how can we make Axiom Infinity much better? Or DeFi Kingdoms much better? Well, it could add more social elements. And by playing in the game, you can actually participate in actually how the game is designed. What are the rules? And this is the next iteration. Also, playability. It's got to be fun. Okay, so this is also part of it. And barrier to entries. So to getting people not even feeling like they're playing a blockchain-based game. Okay, so when you say the word blockchain, a lot of people get scared off, and so this is a very important point. And today, as you're going to see, and because this is what we see here to the right and the left of me, are two examples of GameFi 2.0, and especially Réda's project. It is innovative because it has more sustainable tokenomics. It is not a Ponzi scheme, or maybe less of a Ponzi scheme. I don't know. He's going to explain. But I don't know if you've heard, but I'm sure you've heard of Steppen, right? This is also a GameFi 2.0 project. Huh? Yeah, Ponzi scheme. Yes. Yes, how much could you be paid to really exercise, right? And so this is something that we have to look at. And if you look at what this project is worth right now, I think the shoes are selling for $2,000 or more than $2,000 right now. Yeah, 2,000. Yeah. So anyone have one of these shoes? No, no one. Yeah, no one. Oh yeah, we have one person. Congratulations. Huh? Please sell. You probably should sell. And so you have Steppen. This is an example of GameFi 2.0, because when we look at GameFi 2.0, we're looking at the gamification of everything. Okay, think about like e-commerce. Think about what you do. Think about even learning. Everything is going to be gamified, and so you can do whatever to earn. Whatever you want to do to earn, right? And so it's going to. This is the advantage of doing what we would say tokenization of that. Instead, this is exactly the benefits of the blockchain. Okay, this is possible. Yet we still have to be careful, because what the danger lies in this is that it's an inflationary model. Because we want to bring in new people, we're going to give these incentives, but can we continuously grow to sustain the rewards? And so this is a question that I hope that these gentlemen here will address, and because this is also a big concern, and this is something that in order for GameFi to continue as being sustainable, this is a very important element. Now, the two projects also that belong into this, of course, the first one is Dogami, who is here today. And we have Paul here, who represents Dogami. And I'll let him explain. And we also have a new project launched by the Key Foundation, which is Cosmon. And Cosmon is a very, it's the first GameFi project in the Cosmos ecosystem that I know of. Is that correct? Okay, so it's the first one in the Cosmos ecosystem. And the reason why I know of this is because I am a member of the club, which is their investment group. And this is one of the few clubs that I know, investment clubs that I know, still constantly making money. So, or making me money. So, and congratulations, Réda, for that, especially in a very down market. Thank you. But that's, and so for this reason, this is why it caught my attention, because of the tokenomics and how that works, which I think is very, very innovative. And so these are the two projects that we're presenting today. Cosmon, which is a reveal in a way, and on the other hand, Dogami, which is a very innovative play-to-earn model and concept, which involves what I talked about, the DeFi 2.0, GameFi 2.0 elements that are involved in it. And this is why I'm so happy that that they are here and present today. And so now, before we move to Dogami, I want to introduce you to Carla, who has a very special announcement.
Hello everyone. So thank you, Won, for giving me the opportunity to talk very quickly about the project that I'm trying to set up at ESCE. So my name is Carla. I'm in Master 1 at ESCE Paris in Programme Grandes Écoles. And so just to introduce myself, I have been passionate about blockchain, cryptocurrency, and Web3 in general for the past 1 year. And I have recently launched my YouTube channel to talk about this. If you want to follow my adventure, you can just scan the QR code. And I have a question for you. Do you know what is the cryptosphere? If yes, please raise your hand. No? 1, 2? Okay, not a lot. So Cryptosphere is the first multi-tech association in France that deals with 4 topics. Can you skip maybe the slide? Thank you. So artificial intelligence, that is the set of theories and techniques used to create machines capable of simulating human intelligence. IoT, the Internet of Things, that is the interconnection between physical objects and places and environment. Virtual reality typically refer to a computer technology that simulates the physical presence of a user in artificially generated environment by software. Virtual reality creates an environment with which user can interact. And finally, blockchain and digital assets that include cryptocurrency and in general Web3. The main mission of Cryptosphere are first democratizations to make known the new technology through webinar, hackathon, project, or meetup. The second is education, training different people in new technology, in new technology and in blockchain. And the last one is consulting, conduct awareness days on new technology in large company to help them on specific topic. The main value of Cryptosphere are first innovations, professional in approach, and the most important things, sharing. Cryptosphere has already more than 500 engineering and business students, and 14 business and engineering school. And Cryptosphere is a fabulous human and managerial adventure. So why I'm telling you all of this? Just because we are trying to create a branch of Cryptosphere at ESCE with several students. We are about 10 for the moment. And if you are a student at ESCE, so we need you, so you can just scan the QR code and join us. And if you are not a student at ESCE, you can unfortunately not join us. But I promise you that if Cryptosphere France will approve the branch at ESCE, we will organize events, webinars, hackathon, etc. I'm staying for this very interesting and amazing conference. And if you have any question, just come after the conference and let's talk. Thank you, everyone, and have a good conference.
Yeah, I just wanted to let the students know why join a club, why Cryptosphere, because you'll get into probably all the conferences in France and in Paris related to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And some of these conferences will cost you like 1,500 euros just for admissions. And so the Cryptosphere students can get in for just volunteering. And so this is a huge advantage. Also, you have sponsorships from Binance and from major projects throughout the ecosystem in the cryptocurrency. So for those students who want to get into Cryptosphere, please talk to Carla afterwards, all right? All right, now I want to introduce you to a very special guest. Unfortunately, Bilal, the CTO, could not come today, but instead we have Paul.
Thank you, Professor Kim. Thank you very much for having us. It's a real pleasure to be here. Nice to meet you, Réda. Never met before, but a pleasure to share this stage. Yeah, indeed, I'm not Bilal. He sincerely apologizes for not being here, and he has asked me to replace him. So yeah, I'll do the best I can to live up to the high expectations. Yeah, we can move on. So yeah, I work. Is that too close, or can you hear me well? It's good. Okay. So yeah, a pleasure to be here to talk to you a bit about Dogami. Just to get a sense, how many people here know or Dogami by show of hands, or are in the Discord? Are holders? Holders? Do we have holders? Even? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Lucky you. Okay, so I'll briefly introduce Dogami for those who don't know, and I'll also try to explain to you a bit the thesis at the genesis of Dogami, and what our strategy is, what we think are the key success factors for developing a blockchain game. Let's say first that let's say GameFi, let's call it like that, is quite a large industry, and you have quite a lot of possibilities. Probably, I like to see it a bit as a spectrum, and probably at the very end of a spectrum would be gamified DeFi, which probably were the first games that we had, which was basically very simple game designs, and more focused on DeFi. Yeah, maybe it's talk about it. And probably at the other end of the spectrum is what we now call play and earns. So that's our strategy, to not be just a play to earn, but to be a play and earn. And what does that mean? Concretely is, for the game economics and the tokenomics to be sustainable, our strategy is to have players. It was too close. All right, is that better now or too far? Right here, fine. All right. Yeah, I'm not used to this, so please apologize me. Forgive me. Sorry. So yeah, in a sense, to have a sustainable game in tokenomics, what we try to have is players who don't come to earn money and crypto, but who come to have fun and to play, and who and I guess, yeah, putting ourselves in the Web3 spirit, but who own a bit of the value and who, let's say, touch a bit of the revenue that's generated by the company. That gets redistribution of governance and redistribution of, not dividends, but a share of the profit that's generated in the game. And we don't want to have players who come only to have a return, because we think that this is how you get those pump and dump schemes that you see in Axiom Infinity, for example. They've done a great success, but they're struggling a bit with their tokenomics. We believe it's including it's one of the reasons is that, and so we want to be closer to let's say a free-to-play game where you have paying features inside the game, and a bit of that revenue. Those are some of the most successful games currently, and especially on mobiles. And to become a free-to-play game that is Web3, so that has this redistribution of revenue and that shares a bit of governance. That's a brief introduction. Now let me get into it. Yeah, the essence of Dogami was to be mass market. So briefly, Dogami is a play and earn game then that is mobile based. With AR and VR features, and that is essentially playing with virtual dogs that are NFTs. So the analysis was to create a mass market game, and for that the idea was to choose mobile as the device, as Professor Kim mentioned before. There are many 2.7 billion actually players. I think mobile played a big role in that. Players in the world. Almost everyone has a smartphone in their hand now. You were mentioning that even our moms are playing games now. They are usually playing Candy Crush on their phones. That's the basic idea, was to go for to be mass market and to choose a mass market device for it. Also, the idea was to go for base ourselves on the popularity of dogs, of course, which is basically our general vision now is that to be a successful play and earn, you need to touch something that is a passion for many people. So Rare was a success because so many people love soccer. Our idea here was that many people love dogs, and that's something that can get people together, that can have people spend time on anything, a game, a movie. So that was the general idea. One of the other pillars was to go for viral game designs models that had proven themselves in the past. So Tamagotchi, Pokemon Go were of course big inspirations. Pokemon Go for the mobile and AR features. Tamagotchi, including for the game design, and so AR for of course the play and earn part. So maybe it's better if I don't disturb you. Another idea was to have a strong brand identity and strong visuals. Have actually dogs and avatars that people like and want to can link to, can bond with, appreciate. We think it's maybe easy, but an easy trick, but it's one of the reasons people actually like to spend time in a game, for example, and not have only a voxelized, pixelized game. That was one of the pillars. So that's one of our visuals, the vision, the Metaverse. Another strong pillar was, this is very much in the identity of Web3, and imagine Professor Kim, you work a lot on that in your agency. Have a very strong community management. Our community is everything for now. We treat them as if they were a board of advisors and shareholders, in a sense. And so this is very important for us. Probably many of you have been on Discord on those games, or whether they are games or NFT projects. But this is a very strong tool we use. Try to have strong community involvement, strong community engagement with the rewards, pedagogical content. We have a very early adopters, not really early adopters, sorry, new adopters community. So there's a lot of pedagogical content to be, and as I mentioned, dog loving. Then growth hacking is super important. We don't use ads or influencers. We are not paid influencers, at least in ads, and we use a lot of Discord and Twitter, of course. These are very important key aspects of the way we grow. So that's community, probably not. Then also, yeah, we have a long-term vision, as I said. We do not want to have pump and dump schemes, people who come very short just for speculation. We want to try to have this long-term vision for the sake just of the sustainability of the game. So this goes, this can materialize itself through a fair and open game design, community updates, as I mentioned, and yeah, the content and partnerships. We work a lot with brands. We plan to have interoperability with several metaverse. Very soon will be a Sandbox, which is one of our investors. So your dogs, Dogami, will be the first four-legged avatars in Sandbox. But yeah, we can talk a bit about Metaverse later. But let me say something about it right now. Actually, the vision of Dogami is in several phases, and the first one is what we call the puppy phase. But this is a play-to-earn phase. So with the second phase, the long-term vision is to be a metaverse and to actually be one of the metaverse, because we're strong believers in having several metaverse composing the metaverse, and this is really possible thanks to blockchain interoperability, and this allows for decentralization, not having only one actor like we have in Web 2, where this is necessary. Example, of course, is Facebook. Oh yeah, sorry, I'll say word on that. And yeah, then technology, of course. Maybe I'll not stay too long on this, but to make one of the key factors of success, of course, is have a scalable and trustworthy blockchain technology. So we've chosen Tezos for one of these reasons. We think cybersecurity is super important as well, especially for a game. We don't want to have people being able to cheat, to hack. So this is something we care about a lot. And one of the things that was mentioned, but that we want the blockchain to be a hidden feature. This is one of the things that will allow us to be a real play and earn and to reach mass market. Blockchain, people don't necessarily have to even know that they are using blockchain, that they are buying NFT. The idea is that they are putting value on their avatar. They are getting currency in the game, and they might want to exchange it and gain value from it. But the essence is that it's not. It doesn't have to be a blockchain, and it helps as well to make the customer journey, way easier, because blockchain, of course, as some of you might have experienced, is not always super intuitive and super easy at first to use. Yeah, I guess that's it. That was the end. So thank you. That was the brief introduction of Dogami. I'll leave probably the stage to Réda, and I would love to exchange further, answer questions that you might have. Thank you.
We'll leave the Q&A to afterwards, so because we'll let the presentation go through, and whatever time's left over, we'll do Q&A. I just wanted to say one thing for those of you who don't know Dogami yet. It's just really cute. Okay, and that's really, really important, right? You gotta love it. You gotta fall in love with it. And if it doesn't, if you can't fall in love with it, then it doesn't really create value. So it's really an emotional attachment that they start from. And those of you who know Tamaguchi, and imagine that taken to the next level and all the way into the Petaverse. So you can own like a Tamaguchi dog as an NFT. You have to feed it. You have to, and if you don't do it, it doesn't increase in value. And then you have to take it to the Petaverse, and you have to train it. And then I saw some things about battle. Is that true? You can battle your dog against someone else.
Probably won't go for dog fights.
Yeah, but but
there might be some competition.
yeah, dog show competitions.
Yeah. Not yeah, and like games, like actual games, like it might be races, it might be others. One of maybe I'll add just a little bit where you're right, and you about what the game exactly will be. That's true. Yeah, at the beginning, the first phase will be Tamagotchi-like phase, and then later it will move into a Pokemon Go-like game in an actual Petaverse. The idea is to create an emotional relationship between the owner and his dog, to train it, absolutely, to have it play, to live with it. It's absolutely crucial. And what was your question? Sorry, your last question, probably.
What kind of battles?
Oh yeah, the battles. Yeah. It won't be dog fights, but of course the idea is to have you play with it, evolve with it. That's also where the value is, and yeah, I absolutely agree on that point. We can go further on the game.
Yeah, I've also heard about accessories where they're going to partner with luxury companies where you can dress your dog up in Chanel and increase its value. So there's a lot of potential here. And so I would like to pass to Réda, which is, I would say, it's kind of interesting because we do have that spectrum here. We have on one end, we have play and earn and the emotional attachment and value created to that. And then on the other hand, we have gamified DeFi, okay, which is now people are thinking, okay, so how does the finance and tokenomics work, right? And so these two aspects I find so crucial to the sustainability of this sector. And I'm so happy to see these two different perspectives sitting at two different ends of the spectrum. So, Réda, are you ready, Réda?
Well, hi everyone. I'm Réda. I'm the founder of the Key Foundation, and also I'm the co-founder and CEO of Club. From which actually one is actually one of the members. It's a private club. So just to give you a bit of context, the Key Foundation has created a layer 1 called the Keychain, which actually has as a goal to bridge traditional finance with decentralized finance. And our first business and our first ecosystem product that we launched is Club. Club is, what is it? It's a neo-private bank. That's crypto-friendly, soon to offer payment services, but also an investment platform for high-risk, high-yield opportunities, and also a lifestyle platform and community. I've been personally in crypto for many years now, and I've been through all the ups and very downs that happened. And basically, the one thing that I understood is that a lot of the people in this ecosystem are actually just looking to make big gains quickly. And this is what generates the inflation of value and then contraction of value. Because a lot of the value is generated with leverage and with the hope of making gains in the future. And this is absolutely not the vision of what we invest in Club. I'm a strong believer of value-based investment. And also when I've seen all of the projects, DeFi projects, GameFi, like Axiom Infinity, NFT project that does not make any kind of absolute sense, I was kind of sick of it. So basically I was like, okay, I hate NFTs. How am I going to create NFTs that make sense? So if we can do like just a large overview of what kind of NFTs actually exist today. So you have the NFT PFP projects, like Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, all of those projects that actually give you a nice JPEG that is worth millions. That's now you can put it on Twitter to show that you have a lot of money, and or maybe you were there early, so you bought it for not that much money. It's a tool for signaling. So basically, the same way you would buy a Chanel handbag or you would buy very expensive shoes, it's a way for you to say, hey, I'm part of that club of people who can afford to buy this kind of stuff. So this is the visible part of this kind of products. The invisible parts of some of those products that actually are led correctly by their founders, like Bored Ape Yacht Club. Basically, what you don't know is that they have now almost $600 or $700 million of treasury that they're going to invest in entertainment, in projects that will be only accessible or part of the value shared with the holders of those NFTs. And they ended up at the end of the day launching their own fungible token, because it does not make sense to launch an NFT without token economics behind. So basically, this is the first type of NFTs. And personally, I'm not a big art investor, so I don't understand why I would like put 400K in like a JPEG. The second type of NFTs are NFTs that actually represent something in real life. It's basically almost securities. So you have part of a house, a share of a company, maybe like parts of a building, and it generates yield. So basically, we're just trying to put on the blockchain and materialize a value in real life in the chain, and you can get gains from the value that is generated by those assets. I think that those kind of NFTs make sense, but the problem is regulation has not actually reached the point that where you can be protected when you buy those kind of products. So and there is no there's a few actually exchanges that enables you to buy security tokens, but it's risky. Actually, you need to be regulated to sell those NFTs, and also for the buyers to be protected when they buy those NFTs. So basically, I wouldn't touch those products yet. I think that Bilal also works on something called that was actually looking into building a platform to sell security tokens, NFTs. And then you have the NFT utilities. So this is games. Axiom Infinity, you buy a little monster. Dogami, you buy a little dog. Also, you have like DeFi Kingdoms. So basically, people are buying NFTs to be able to play a game, and sometimes like there's a big advertisement that you can make a lot of money by playing that game. So basically, like 80% of the people come to the game to make money. And this is what I like with Dogami, is that they actually are looking to build a game, and maybe they will share, players will share part of the value, which is actually the best approach, in my opinion, when you want to build like a game. The problem is most of those projects, actually what they do is that they issue their own token, and that token, you get it when you stake your NFT and when you stake more tokens. And basically what they do is that they generate economics with the new arrivals. Like the new buyers, they fund the treasury is used partly to buy back the tokens, and then like it creates that vicious circle where less and less value. So the more they grow, the more users come to play because other people are making a lot of money. Then like it's a Ponzi scheme. So and it does not make sense, because at the end of the day, you will end up having people losing money, and you will like for sure. And you will end up having something that crashes. So I was like, okay, so how can we do something that makes sense? And this is where we had the idea of launching Cosmon. So a bit of like context. What is Cosmon? Maybe I do have some slides. So we are in the 25th century this is the story behind. I'm a gamer. I was a gamer. I started coding when I was 11 years old to build my own video game. So yeah, I'm behind this story. It was fun to write it. So we are in 25th century, and the human species started to be multiplanetary, and we started like colonizing planets, and something actually took notice of us, and so there was a threat is coming, like there is a spaceship coming to Earth, and so we start to be afraid, and a group of scientists started to clone leaders of the old times to be able to protect us, because we do not have any kind of leader that can protect us from a threat. So they took the DNA of leaders of the ancient times, like Napoleon, like Caesar. So basically, they clone a lot of leaders, and you have to build a deck of those leaders. So each leader is available in different quantities and also rarities, and you can build a deck of 3 leaders and participate to a championship to identify who are the best leaders, and this is how you play. You have 6 rarity levels. Like this is Churchill. For those who did not recognize Churchill, there was a great documentary yesterday about Churchill on France 3. So there are common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and divinity. And basically what happens is that when people buy those NFTs, the money doesn't go in our pockets or in the company. They actually go into a decentralized fund that actually manages that money in blue chip projects and investments that generate yields. And those yields actually are, so that money is locked forever, and it's not going anywhere. And the funds, actually, the yield that is generated is partly compounded in the fund, but also partly redistributed to the owners of the NFTs to be able to play in the native token that we have created, XKI, and part of that yield also goes to fund a prize pool. So the best players can earn the prize pool to make even more money. Each card has three evolution. So the more you play, the more you gain experience. The more you gain experience, the more you can get to the next level. So we created token economics linked to our native token to be able to create an additional utility to that token that people receive, to be able to compete and then use that token. But at the end of the day, they can also sell the token and get money out of it. So we have created that ecosystem of value that is funded by the players, but also gets compounded over time to be able to sustain the value over a very long time. And what's interesting is that the more players you have, the bigger the value you'll get in the game. So the gameplay will be simple. You have three NFTs, 3 cards per deck, and then you will have to fight people, other decks, and you have special attacks, simple attacks, and it's like an RPG for those people who played Final Fantasy. It's kind of the same thing, and you can make your characters evolve, and they become stronger. You have also compatibility between cards, so basically you have to be smart about who you put together. You have to put there is the era, the time where if they're they were in the same period of time, or if they are in the same continent, or if they are aggressive, more of organized, financial. So some cards are more compatible with others, and you have to be smart about it. And this is how we create an additional value, which is the scarcity, because the cards, you get them randomly, and then you have to find the right card to complete your deck. So this is how we create an additional value, more than just the fund, but also the need of completing a deck. So that will generate an even more a higher value of the card, of a specific card, because people will need it to be able to win the prize pool. And yeah, We did a small pre-sale on Club. So the good thing about being a Club member is that you get everything before everyone, and it was a huge success. Like we sold actually all the cards were sold in less than 48 hours. I don't know one. Maybe you were able. Okay, cool. I
missed out on the rare one. I got the less rare one.
I wanted to buy like true story. I'm a huge fan of Napoleon. I wanted to buy the very rare Napoleon, and actually someone bought it before me. So I'm pissed. I hope I will get it. So yeah, I don't know if I have any more slides, but actually, yeah, if you want to join have some news about Key Foundation, feel free to follow us. If you want to join Club, you can maybe scan the QR code. We have an application process, so you can apply, and also follow Cosmon, because we'll be soon doing a public mint, and the game will be available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Réda. Now I think we'll open up to questions. Yes, we'll have if we can have a couple of people who can help us with the mics. God, I have to think. And so, if you have a question, please let me know.
The NFT card will be cross-chain in the Cosmos ecosystem or not?
That's a good question. There is no standards of NFTs currently in the Cosmos ecosystem. There is actually a pool. CW 721.
There is not.
But there is no standard for IBC transfers of it.
Yeah.
So there is a pull request right now in the interchain GitHub that we're pushing for it to be merged. We actually have respected the standards, and we're pushing for that standard to be the one that is used. So yeah, we also have other projects that follow our tech stack. Maybe you heard about a project called Carbonable, in which we invested. Yeah, so we seeded that project, and they are using actually the same technology that is used on Cosmon.
Good.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
After COVID, it will be possible to sustain about NFT game or not?
What do you mean after COVID?
Yeah, because COVID, it is connected to gaming. Too many people cannot go outside.
Yeah.
So that's why too many people want to play game. So, in my opinion, after COVID, too many people don't want to play the game. They want to
I
have an
agree.
experience in the real life. So that's why I want to know about it. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think now the secret will be to build a great game. Actually, we don't care about building a great game. We build financial products. So we create engineering, financial engineering, to build something that makes money. Yeah, can you talk into the mic, because I can't hear like half of what you say.
So you focus about the technical things. So what is final goal about your technology?
I think it's not just technical; it's also philosophical. We don't invest in pump and dumps, in meme coins, in shitty projects. We just try to identify the best blue chip projects that are part of our fund. In terms of technology, we try to create the most scalable DeFi building blocks to automate and get most of the yield that is available on those assets. But at the end of the day, all of the technology that we use to build Cosmon will be open sourced, and we want people to clone it and just to do the same. and build it on our chain and to benefit from the whole ecosystem that we're building. But at the end of the day, we're not game developers. Even though that was my dream when I was 11 years old, was to build an MMORPG. I was actually I played World of Warcraft in its beta in 2002. I was a player on World of Warcraft, and I have a warrior and a paladin, and the most cheated classes at that time. But basically, building an MMO is fucking hard. So it's like you have huge video game development companies that fail after investing hundreds of millions just to build an MMO. So basically, this is not our specialty. Like we do finance and we try to make money with money. But like I encourage those who want to try to do it, but it's like it will be complicated.
So you said about the philosophy. So decentralizing is like a democratic. Is it right for you? Your dream of this work, maybe.
No, I see what you mean, and maybe we can dive deeper after the conference about is decentralization democratic or not. I'm against anarchy. I'm against the fact that you give power to a lot of people that could be misinformed in a decentralized ecosystem. That's why the key chain is a dictatorship. And this is how we can build fast and create value, because you need leadership. Just look at one very interesting experiment, a chain called Juno that has been launched by anarchists. And actually, it's a huge dictatorship of misinformation. That chain has decided to rip off a wallet of a whale from $40 million just because someone has decided to put together a proposal, and after brainwashing the whole community, telling them that this whale was dumping tokens on the market. And like, so you say it's democracy, but at the end of the day, it's dictatorship of the one who has the power to brainwash people. So basically, I think that democracy too soon, and even in real life, democracy too soon is a bad thing.
Hello, I have a question for maybe for Paul or for the three of you guys. I'm here. Paul, you talked about trying to prevent speculators and trying to attract real players. So how do you prevent speculators, and how do you try to attract real players and people who are really invested in the project?
Yeah. Essentially, it's really hard to prevent speculators to come at all. What we try to do is to not have only people who come to speculate, and have mostly people who come to play. It's hard to really block people from trying to come and make money. As one of the use cases of blockchain and token is that it's liquid, so anyone can come and sell it and buy it. So I'd say that yeah, we try to structure a game design that attracts people, not just to make money. And yeah, it's really hard to prevent people to come. You will always have some speculators with, I guess, liquid assets. Or if you have any ideas, please don't hesitate.
No, I don't.
But
Sorry.
and there are ways to try to prevent the whole thing being just speculation. But yeah, it's a struggle. It really is, and no one has found a perfect solution yet, I think.
To answer that, I think speculation is part of the marketing. Okay, we have to have the speculators to generate excitement and hype and generate interest, because that initial financial interest drives word of mouth. And when we're talking about Web3 marketing, which is 4.0 marketing, and 4.0 is community-based, you need a community. And that community, if it doesn't have some sort of incentive to try to beat each other to the punch, you're not, and we are competitive as human beings. This doesn't generate excitement. And what the speculators bring to the table, and we think that speculators are all bad. It's great, because what speculators bring to the table are the financing and the vision, the money that we can build out the Metaverse. Now, if we didn't have those speculators, then what we would have is they would have to build out the entire A to Z, the Metaverse, before someone would come in. This is where you get these big, massive $100 million games that flop. And so what the speculators bring is a kind of an opportunity to develop agile, step by step. And this is what Dogami represents. And it's the initial visionaries who are speculators who believe in the project. Now this key to doing this is to keep building the community and showing proof that you are moving forward and that vision is developing. And the value is constantly being created. Now, what has happened in many cases that you sold this and you delivered this, and this is where the projects crash. And so, but when I look at a project like Dogami, I think they are very much capable of over delivering and under promising, and I think that is the key. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Just if I can add, but I think you're right. Communities and speculators are really important because they provide liquidity, and the more liquidity you have, the deeper and the less slippage you have on your token when people buy it. So I think it's important, and it shows us something very interesting, is that when you build a community that are also stakeholder of your asset and of your value, it becomes like a religion to them. And as long as they believe in you, you will have an army. And even if your game is shitty in the beginning, but they'll try to make it better, they will stick with you because they have financial incentives. So it's important.
Hi, it's okay. Thanks for the presentation. I have a lot of questions. I hope of topics like Axie hacking, the pendulum. But I have a little curiosity about Cosmon. You said earlier that you went to make the game up for everybody, but you put yourself so for this project in card games, but you take the gameplay like Axie Infinity, like 3 people, deck structure. How can you say that Cosmon, how we go in Cosmon, that there are few projects like Ninetales, Crazy Age, who just they're marketing a large more people. For example, you have 700 people on Twitter, although Crazy Age and Ninetales have 100. How can you say today, let's go in the Cosmon between Crazy Age or Ninetales?
I didn't understand the question.
Why can you convince us to go to Cosmon?
I don't want to convince you to go to Cosmon. You can play any game you want. We build a financial product. You can have 500 people. We have a strategy that generates money for 500 people. You can have 500,000 people. We have financial strategy for 500,000 people. Actually, we don't care how many people because we are not a Ponzi scheme. The money that is put into the fund stays there and is managed to make more money.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I think, again, let's go to the spectrum again, right? On this side is they're going after mass adoption. Here, it's really managed pools and funds, which is more what I would say it's financially responsible. This is why it's DeFi that is gamified. And that's why it's very different. Now, when you have Axiom Infinity, you're having something trying to do both. And this is where it breaks down because it's a Ponzi scheme. And so, yes, you can get games that are going to be Ponzi schemes, but eventually it's going to wear itself out. And this is the big problem with DeFi pools. DeFi pools today are pretty much, people are worn out because it's all a copy and paste of one another, and there is no innovation, and it just wears itself out, and that will be exposed quite quickly. And what will be left are the ones that really have a solid foundation responsibility, the thinking, innovation, and this is might not be apparent when you look on the outside. And so this is why, and I said, oh my God, another card game, you know, we have hundreds of those, right? But then when I realized that this is not just a card game, this is a DeFi product that is gamified, and so that there is added value, but the inherent structure is a sustainable pool. That's where I think that it becomes it will emerge. But it's not something that's trying to get out of the racetracks the fastest. It's something that will probably be around when everything falls.
Did you think what killed Axiom Infinity is a Ponzi game at the start? Don't you think the hacking of $6 million is again for something?
No, I don't think so, because if you look at the chart, they had a strong hit way before the hacking. And what's very interesting is that I have a friend actually who heard about the hack and shorted the token, and he got liquidated because no one actually fucking cares. Yeah, no one cared that the underline of the value of the running layer has disappeared. And that's what's crazy, is that the community of Axie holders care more about the overvalue and like the latent value than the real underlying value. And this is what's the power of a brand. And that's actually, I was surprised. I thought the token would like completely crash and go to zero, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen. So I don't think so. I think that token economics is a very hard thing. And like, look at what happened to UST yesterday. Like, just a decision can break your token. Like, for example, Do should have never bowed back to keep the peg. He should have accepted that UST goes down to like 50 cents and people gets liquidated, and then afterwards use the reserves. He has just like used most of his reserves to try to keep the peg. But like, this is very hard. It's like the job of a central bank at the end of the day.
I'm okay with you. Like Min of Dalaria, who just killed his project from 1 year in 1 day. Thanks.
Yeah.
Or, for example, what do you think of the method of Titan Hunter, if you know it?
I don't know this.
Know it? They just cut the pool and open the pool at the regular days.
I don't think the pool should be cut because it gives the ability to people to prepare liquidity and do stuff that you would not like to see happen on your market. Like, crypto never sleeps, so liquidity should always be there.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question for Réda. I'm interested in your asset class and your strategy for investment. Because you're mentioning the blue chip projects, could you please be more specific? Is it like blockchain projects, or you're also involved in traditional finance? Also, from what I'm understanding now, is it someone behind this capital actively managing? It's like a traditional finance. I'm a little bit confused why it's called DeFi, or is kind of decentralized architecture. Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually very, very good questions. That's why we say we bridge traditional finance with decentralized finance, and you can take this in like different ways. Like, we just bring money from traditional finance and bring it into DeFi, or we do DeFi, or etc., etc. But at the end of the day, right now, we have a very strong strategy onto blockchain. We're thinking about how we implement traditional finance in our strategies in a compliant way. That's what's important to us, is how we stay compliant in everything we do. But at the end of the day, so we have been registered as PSAN a few weeks ago. And like, we have been working very hard into being compliant in everything we do. So right now, we're just blockchain based on our strategies, but at the end of the day, we identify the blue chips on those things. So basically, we see a token, we won't be investing in the token just looking at its graph. We will interview the team behind. So if the team is not public, for us, we do not look at it. We look at the liquidity, we look at the holders, we look at the whales, we look at the locking periods, we look at the inflation rewards, we look at also the investors. All of those things are actually the elements that actually give us, okay, this could be a blue chip. And then we look at the token economics of that project. And then we see if there is utility, if it is an infrastructure project, if it is a platform project, if it's a marketplace project. And we have like in-house analysis on how deep the value can pour into the token. And then we do like we distribute the allocation depending on how strong our opinion is on a project. And like I can tell you that we are more like Warren Buffett than George Soros or.
So it's like a venture capital instead of like Uniswap.
We also do liquidity providing, so we do different kind of strategies.
So it's like still like humans managing the fund.
Part of it, like we have a part that is completely automated, and another part that is actually fed by human analysis.
So thank you. And I have a question for Paul to Dogami. So can you say us the day where Dogami will be launched and the day where when the DAO will be launched to people and player?
Yeah, the game is supposed to come out, let's say, this summer. So the first version will come probably at the beginning of the summer, and the first actual version will be at the end of the summer. There are several phases. There will be several phases in the Dogami game. This will be the very first one, called the puppy phase, and this is the one that is inspired by Tamagotchi. So it will be very basic. It will be a first phase for players to discover their dog, to link with it, and to earn their first native tokens. Later on, early 2023 will be the second phase, the adult phase, which will be way more complex, with user-generated content, and that will look more like Pokemon Go, as we mentioned, for you to have a sense of it. But yeah.
Okay, so it's for the next year, for the DAO.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The second part of your question was the DAO. Yeah, the DAO will be more for this part of the game. The very early phase does not really need DAO for it. It's it's quite straightforward. But then later on, we'll introduce DAO. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify what some of those people who are what a DAO is. Some of us know what it is, but it's a decentralized autonomous organization, and it's using the blockchain to create a democracy in a sense, or voting mechanism, so that you can have participative governance. And the problem with governance is that there's so many models, there's so many ways to do it, but what is essential is that you have a voting possibility so that members can participate in decision making, and how you weight that is determined by the governance rules. And so just to let you, for those of you who don't know what a DAO is, it means that pretty soon as a player, you're not just a player, you are part of the management.
Yeah, exactly. DAOs are very interesting. They are one of the use cases of owning a token and actually making the game a bit more decentralized. They're also a challenge because, of course, and that's the philosophical, political discussions that we were having before. But there are many models, and it's not that easy to let's say determine as a game exactly which competencies you'll delegate to the DAO and when. There are several issues with that. Is that first, there is a risk of having a decentralized organization being almost centralized, in the sense that you have whales that own a lot of tokens and that can have strong influence. So you do not want that. One of the possibilities that one of the possible solutions is to actually have the reward that you have sometimes in staking, rewarding people blocking tokens to vote. So it's not just owning a lot of tokens that is rewarded, but it's actually putting it to contribute to the game and making actual contributions and using it to vote and make and propose solutions. Yeah, there are, as I said, there are. The second aspect is which competencies to delegate and when, and that's is links a bit to what Réda was saying. But I think decentralization is super interesting, and we want to be close to. I mean, it's kind of one of the ideals of Web3. We'll see how it goes, but we would like to actually have it concretized and sharing some governance with the token holders. In the early stages, it's very hard to be decentralized, and centralization is good for innovation, for reactivity. So in the very early stages, it's way easier for us to be 30 people or 60 people in a startup than having having to answer and decide anything, any choice with hundreds, thousands of token holders. So essentially, the DAO will have increasing more governance, but DAO is something that comes further in the game when you actually have things to decide. That's what I was mentioning, and also is when it's also when the game is. I think the DAO gains more power when the game is at a more mature stage, when it makes sense that. Yeah.
I think we have time for just one more question. So, is there one last question? Anyone?
So my question is more for Paul, because it's literally a game rather than DeFi, and you talked about mass adoption and the willingness to be more a game than just a play to earn, but a play to have fun. I don't quite know that much Dogami, but is there, if I want to play it, should I pay for a dog, or is it free to enter the game?
Yeah, in the very beginning, you'll have to pay for it. There might be a free, totally free version of the game that will allow you to less access, less game options and no reward, of course. But yeah, it's so yeah. If that question was just that, you will at some point be able to be just free to play. But if your question was how do you get mass adoption while paying? Then
my question is, I got convinced of NFT, and I really believe in NFT games, in blockchain in games, because the argument that is often heard and that convinced me, and that I used to convince friends about the blockchain in general, is that nowadays when you play Clash of Clans or Fortnite or everything, it's free to play, and there's a huge market. It's like everyone plays it, yet the studio earns money, and they're the only ones. So people spend money on the game, and the studio gets it. And usually in video games or in the blockchain, because you own the product you buy, you can resell it and make money. And so, my question is about mass adoption, and you talked about community and the importance of community. Isn't there a risk that, in video games in general, like in Clash of Clans, there was a huge community, but there were the noble players, the ones that had a huge village, but it was just their time and the time they dedicated to the game. and the cheaters, the one who spent a lot of gems to build a huge village. By making a barrier of entry which is costly, isn't there a risk to have a community just of like the wrong side of the community of Clash of Clans, Fortnite, and everything?
So people having to pay to win? Is that
yeah, having too much, like, because you have to pay to participate to the game and to win. Is it fun to play at the end, or is it just the more money you have, the more chances you have to win? And so if you don't have a lot, you can get discouraged quite quickly. Isn't there a contradiction with the aim of mass adoption?
Yeah, no, it's a fair question. Yeah, those games like Clash of Clans, you have this pay to win mechanism. It's a lot in mobile games, actually. And I don't know if it's blocking mass adoption, but it's not what you want. Let's say it might, yeah, for many reasons. The thing is, there are several ways to encourage people paying without having them to those who pay most to win. One of those ways is that people who pay more can gain more, but not win more. To make it more clear, like for example, Sorare, of course you have in each league, if you are in each league, the more you pay, the more you win, but it's not the only way to win. But you have a differentiation between people who want to invest like 100K, they play between themselves, like you have in poker tables. If you want to play poker, investing like 5, and you can say you can win 50, well, you'll be in this game, and you'll be paying fair with people who are in the same table. That's one way to deal with it. We don't want people to have too much advantage because they pay more, but we want them to be able to gain more. Let's say the reward they win will have higher value if they have paid more. Let's say that's one way to differentiate it. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. But yeah, it is a risk, and it's something that you have to take into consideration in your game design. And there are several ways to do it. What I mentioned was one of the ways. There are several. But yeah, it's something that you have to keep in mind. I agree.
Thank you.
So in closing, I want to thank this audience, as you can see from the quality of the questions. Yes, there's a last question? Okay, let's do one more last question.
Okay. It looked a little like the question of the other guy. No? Can you hear me? It looked a little like the question of the other guy. It's about the barrier of entry of Dogami and Cosmon. And yeah,
We can't hear. Can you talk into the mic? Can you talk like the mic?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. No. Keep it that way.
It's about the barrier of entry of Dogami and Cosmon.
Yeah, I think Paul answered already that there is like different levels of entry. Like there will be the very cheap one, maybe the free one. I think that it's all about the game design. Here we had to do some game design too. It's about matchmaking. You do the matchmaking with the people in the higher leagues. The people that pay more are in the higher leagues, but at the end of the day, they're matched with also higher ranked cards, decks. So actually, it's harder for them to win. But actually, at the end of the day, the prize pool is more important. And I think it will be the same. And also for Clash of Clans is the same thing. When you have a village in which you have invested, I don't know, 10,000 euros, you will be matched with the villages that have the same power as you. So basically, you can build that village with hundreds of hours of play and work, or you can get to there by paying yourself in. So I don't see the issue. You will be able to play in different leagues depending on how much money you put on the table. It's just the outcome that is different.
Yes, I think I want to thank everyone here for your presence and the quality of the people who are here. I'm sure you've realized from the questions that are being posed. And so, again, I just want to reiterate why we do this conference is a networking event. And this is why we would like to invite you to a cocktail just right next door so that you can ask these gentlemen personally or other people in this room. And again, we are the progenitors of GameFi. We are the early ones. We are the ones that, and this is why it's so exciting for me to be here with you, because you are not here because just to make a buck or just because other people are involved. You are here because you are genuinely curious, and you are here because you also have committed to this field, and this is the reason for doing these kinds of conferences. And I again thank you very much. Please give yourselves a hand now for coming.